Many Houston Medical Center homebuyers make one or both of these mistakes. They either choose the wrong location and or they overpay for the home. Many assume closest to the medical center automatically means the smartest, and it doesn't. And that mistake can cost you in monthly payment, lifestyle, and the overall deal you get. Because just a little further out, you can get a much better home and community without adding too much more to your commute. So in this video, I'm going to break down the areas I would look at first if I want a new construction home and a commute that makes sense and a better overall deal. And near the end, I'm going to tell you which two communities my wife and I would choose today if we were buying again with a medical center commute in mind, because my wife works in the medical center. And it's important because the answer is not what most buyers would expect. And it's not where we live now. It would be different. Real quick, this is hugely important. When you're visiting and builders or you're looking for a new home, text me before you visit. Because if you start in the wrong area or walk into the builder first, you will miss stronger opportunities and incentives that are available through me and not offered directly from the builder. I help you in three important ways. I help you understand the process. I help you avoid costly mistakes, and I help you get a better deal every time on new construction homes. So let's get into it. Here's the simple way I would think about this. If you want the closest and most convenient overall new construction home, then hands down, it's the Pearland Manvel area in Pomona subdivision. If you want the best overall value, I'm looking much harder at the Manvel, Iowa Colony, and Rosharon area near Highway 6. If you want the strongest lifestyle and community option, then to me, that's Sienna subdivision in Missouri City. That's the real breakdown. And that is exactly why a lot of buyers get this wrong, because what they keep asking, what's the best suburb? When the better question is, what's the best suburb for me? That's the question that actually gets you to the better decision. Not just the shortest drive, not just the most popular name, not just the house that looks best online. You want the better move that checks all the boxes. So let's start with the area that gets the most attention. If your top priority is convenience, then Pearland, Manvel, where they come together, the Pomona subdivision is the strongest option. And I want to explain that clearly because this is where a lot of buyers misunderstand the map. Pearland stretches a long way east to west. So when people say Pearland, that can mean very different things for commute. The western side of Pearland goes right across Highway 288. And Pomona, even though it's technically Manvel, is basically right there too, literally one street over and you're in Pearland. So for real life distance purposes, Pearland and Pomona are almost part of the same conversation. That is the closest and most convenient zone. So if you're thinking, I want to stay as practical as possible, I want the easiest overall medical center suburb commute, I want to keep this simple, then yes, this is where I would look first. But there's a catch. You're paying a premium for that convenience. Pomona is a good example of that. It's more of a premium and convenience option, and the pricing usually reflects it, with homes generally running from the low 400s into the mid 800s. And that's why I think some buyers overrate Pearland. Not because it isn't good, it is good. We live in Pearland. We love Pearland. It's strong, but it wouldn't be our top pick today like it was when we bought our new construction home here 15 years ago, only because there are more exciting options now than there were at that time. So it's not automatically the smartest move anymore just because it's the closest suburb or the one people know the best. Sometimes paying premium makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. And that depends on your budget, your priorities, and how much that extra convenient is really worth to you. Now let's talk about the area I think checks the most boxes for most buyers. That's going to be the Manvel, Iowa Colony, and Rosharon area near Highway 6. To me, that is the best overall value zone. This is really where value conversation starts, with new homes often starting as low as the upper 200s. Because once you move past that Pearland Pomona zone and get to Highway 6, those areas start bunching together more than a lot of buyers realize. And commute-wise, they're all pretty close to the same. That's why I like this zone so much. You get range, you get options, you get more ways to win. And this is where the conversation gets really good. If you want to stay much more budget conscious, a place like Caldwell Crossing becomes really interesting because the homes there start in the upper 200s and run all the way to the upper 300s. If you want more of a master plan resort style feel, then Meridiana becomes very interesting with homes generally running from the low 300s to the 1 millions. And that's what makes this whole value zone so strong. It gives you more ways to balance commute, budget, community, and lifestyle. And for a lot of buyers, especially if you need under 400,000, this is where I think the smarter overall opportunities usually are. Because now you're not just asking what's closest, now you're asking where do I get the best overall move for my money? That's a smarter question. That is how you understand the process better. That is how you avoid costly mistakes. And that is how you put yourself in a position for a better overall deal. Now let's talk about Sienna in Missouri City. If your top priority is lifestyle, amenities, and overall community feel, then to me, Sienna is the clear pick. That is my lifestyle option. If you want the strongest master plan community, it's a top 3 master plan community in the Houston area, and it has the most and best community amenities. If you want the more established master plan feel, if you want the neighborhood itself to feel like a major part of what you're buying, then Sienna is tops. Meridiana runs a very close second, but Sienna is still the one to beat. But I would frame it carefully. I would not frame Sienna as the best pure value option. I would frame it as the best lifestyle option. And the pricing reflects that. Sienna generally runs from the mid 300s to the 2 millions. So yes, there is range there, but it is still different conversation than the Highway 6 value. And there's another thing that you need to think about here. The commute pattern is different. Pearland, Pomona, Manvel, Iowa Colony, Rosharon, most of that conversation is Highway 288 commute straight in. Sienna is more of a Highway 521 or Fort Bend Toll Road commute. So that means the commute feel is different. And the tolls are part of the equation too if you're looking for the fastest commute in on the toll road. That does not make it a bad option at all. It just means it's a different kind of decision. And now let me close the loop on what I talked about a little earlier. If my wife and I were buying again today with a medical center commute in mind, because that's where she works, our number 1 pick would actually be Sienna, with a very close number 2 being Meridiana. And the reason is simple. These are 2, if not the 2 best master plan communities in the entire Houston area. You can still get them affordably. The amenities are incredible. The activities are incredible. And the sheer amount of things to do makes it feel like living at a resort year round. And the other reason this matters is that the commute is still very doable. For a medical center commute, you're generally looking at around 25 to 35 minutes, depending on traffic. So if you want the strongest mix of lifestyle, amenities, overall community, and still get a very realistic medical center commute, those 2 would be our top choices. The area I think a lot of buyers overrate is Pearland. Again, not because Pearland isn't good. It is good. It's strong, but it's definitely not automatically the smartest move just because it's the closest suburb. A lot of people flock to it just because it's the most popular. They know it best. It makes the most headlines. But a lot of times, just a little further out, you can get a better balance of payment, community, and overall opportunity. That's the part buyers miss. They overfocus on one thing. Sometimes it's commute. Sometimes it's the name of the suburb. Sometimes it's just trying to stay in the most popular area. But the goal is not to win one category. The goal is to make the best overall decision for your family. So if I were simplifying this as much as possible, I'd say it like this. If you want the closest and most convenient overall zone, think Pearland and Pomona. If you want the best overall value and the most balanced opportunities, focus hard on Manvel, Iowa Colony, and Rosharon near Highway 6. If you want the strongest lifestyle and you want to feel like you're just like living in a mega resort year round, then the community choice is going to be Sienna in Missouri City. And whatever you do, text me before you visit the builder, because I'm not just helping you find a home. I help you understand the process because there's a lot involved in the process. I help you avoid costly mistakes because without expert guidance, it is easy to fall into mistakes when you're buying a new construction home. And most importantly, I help you get a better deal every time, and I guarantee it. I work to improve the deal using additional incentives available to me through builder relationships and incentives that I personally add to your home purchase. So if you want help narrowing down the right area near the medical center, text Commute to 832-551-9151. Again, that's 832-551-9151. That's directly to me. I'd love to hear from you in the comments too. What matters more to you? The shortest commute, the best overall value, the best lifestyle and community, or are you, like I suggest, looking for a very good balance of all three? Put that in the comments and I'll see you on the next video.